Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming to my panel. I am Jester Musician, and this is my panel on how to make a music box arrangement. So I'm Andrew Cochimilio, and I make piano music box arrangements for my YouTube channel, Jester Musician. I started this hobby in 2013 after discovering these neat little instruments. I found that video game music tends to lend itself well to music boxes. So that's what most of my channel is all about. I've been inactive over recent years to focus on my career in software engineering. But last year at MAGFest, I did a panel, I went to the soapbox and I played some of my music box arrangements, and it was pretty well received. So I thought I'd do a panel this year. So here I am running my first panel ever, so please bear with me. So today we're going to cover the following items. I'll start by giving an overview of the different types of music boxes. Then I'll talk about their limitations as well as some tips for overcoming them. Then I'll open up some of my software and I'll show you what that would look like in practice with a piece, Yearnings of the Wind from Chrono Trigger. We'll arrange that piece today. And then I'll use my cutting machine over here, and I'll actually make the punch card for you within the hour live. And then, we'll hopefully have some time for Q&A. All right, so let's get started. So first, let's talk about music boxes. Like, what is a music box? This picture here shows a very simple music box. It makes its sound from these thin, vibrating metal plates, which is similar to a thumb piano, if you've ever used one of those, or a kalimba, or mbira. These plates and tines are each tuned to a musical pitch, and they're arranged in the shape of a comb. So people refer to this as the comb of the music box. And it defines, like, the specific tunings of the comb will define what pitches are available on that music box. And then against the comb are studs, which program the music box, like a piano roll. Each stud will pass under the comb and pluck a corresponding tine at a specific time. In this picture, this music box has the studs on a rotating cylinder, but there are other shapes of music boxes. So the most common type of music box uses a studded cylinder. The cylinder has precisely positioned studs on the outside that each pluck a corresponding tine when the cylinder is rotated. Another type of music box uses a disc, which has the studs arranged on top instead. A third type of music box, which is the one we're going to talk about today, is this uses a punch card. This is the one here. I'll actually pass this around so you guys can have a closer look at it. This music box will accept a punch card, and the holes will allow a studded wheel to rotate, and that causes an opposite tine to vibrate. So let me show you what that looks like here. So this is the music box, and you can see these little star wheels here. They oops. Sorry about that. Oh. Yeah. So these on the back of the music box, you can see these are the tines here. When you rotate the one of these, it'll actually pluck the tine. So on one side, the card will pass through like this, and you can see that as the hole passes over the series of tines. It's kind of hard to see here. So I will pass this around. But you can see that, like, when the hole, it'll cause one of the wheels to rotate. And I'll see if I can just, like, focus this a bit. Focus, please. Thank you. So, like, you can see how each wheel is rotating in accordance with the stud. I mean, I should probably hold my arm here, actually. So, you know what? This would be easier if I just pass it around. So I'm gonna let you all play with it. Feel free to pass the card in through in any orientation, just as long as it goes through the same slot. So you want to take this? Cheers. Okay. All right. So yeah, this music box is readily available online, not too expensive. Like this particular one was I think it's like $30 off Amazon. It has a pretty decent range. There's a couple of different ranges, and they're relatively easy to program. You just need like some cardstock paper, really, and or you can use like the pre-printed paper strips that it comes with. I'll talk more about that in a moment. Anyway, so let's talk about the different kinds of music boxes we have that are of this variety. There's a couple. The first one, oh sorry, I forgot. Thank you. I've got the photo booth still ringing. All right, let me close that. Minimize the. Sorry, I'm just gonna minimize. Where's my mouse? I see it. Yeah. No, I'll just close it. I'll bring it later. Okay, so there are a few kinds of punch card music boxes that are readily available online, and they have different ranges. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of staves. They're all sounding one octave higher than written. The simplest one has 15 diatonic tones, from A flat 4 to A flat 6. It sounds an A flat, but it's actually from C to, it's like a 2-octave range from C to C. Yeah, and you can see that's the range on the piano, and that's the range in staff notation. This is the cheapest music box, and it's you can still make good music out of it, but its range is limited. The next one up it sounds in C, and it is a full two octaves and up to A, so 20 notes, all diatonic from C4 to sounding C4 to A6. The next one, which is the one that I'm passing around and the one we're going to use today, has 30 notes. It has the same range as above, but you have 8 black keys, the 8 sharps and flats, and you also have the F and the G below C4. So, yeah. Finally, and there's also a specialty music box that has 33 chromatic notes, or like from C4 to A6, excluding C sharp 3. C sharp 4. This is that music box. This one for some reason is much harder to find. Like I had to get this off a retail online from some website based in Europe, and this was like 500 euros. This one is most versatile. You can make a lot of different kinds of music out of it. Like I made an arrangement of Megalovania out of it because that song has a lot of chromaticism. It would be much harder to do on the 30 note, but it was pretty straightforward on this one. Okay. All right. So these are the ranges we have to work with. So how do we actually go about arranging for this music box? I think of each piece as a fun little puzzle, where you take like a song that's not particularly that might not actually like start well on a music box, but like when you hear it on a music box, it kind of changes it, and you have a limited range. It's like how do you select from what few notes you have available to make the same kind of piece? So I try and look at it like that. And here's some general tips for how to do that successfully. First, I would say select a piece that will likely translate well to a music box. So you should consider like the limitations of the music box itself. It's not like you can have a lot of. It's not very like percussive, so if the piece you're trying to arrange has a lot of percussion in it, it might not translate very well. I actually think that starting with a piano arrangement is a good rule of thumb. If it works on a piano, it'll likely translate well to a music box with some caveats, but it's a great starting point, and that's what I'm going to do today. So yeah, the following qualities are good indicators for successful arrangement. A song-like melody. Music boxes like to sing. They do have like a. If a piece has a strong melody, it'll sound really well on music box generally. If it doesn't, then it might just it might work. But I prefer working with music that has song-like melodies. And again, video game music tends to do this a lot. Strong harmonies. This is because a music box is polyphonic. You can get away with you can do a lot of things like you can do on a piano and do harmonies. You can emphasize the harmonies in the chords, And especially if your music box has like those sharps and flats, you can really make the most of them if the music has like a lot of interesting harmonies in it. Slower tempo. This is because of a physical limitation, really. Two adjacent notes will not sound like they won't sound if they're too close to each other. If they're two notes of the same pitch, if they're too far apart, if they're too close to each other, then like it literally will not actually. It won't be actuated by the mechanism because the distance between the studs is too great. So like the whole will basically get skipped. So a slower tempo is recommended because otherwise, if you wanted to play the song at a higher tempo, you'd actually have to crank it faster. You'd have to like spread the whole piece out, stretch it out so that each hole can sound. But then you'd have to also crank your hand you have to crank your hand so as to pass the paper fast enough, and that's a bit of a workout. And also, just don't make it too long either, or else again your hand will get tired. So I've done pieces in the past that are like very, very long, physically long, because they're like it's punch cards, but like there's many pieces taped together, and they're like several like 20 feet long, and then when you store it, it's like a giant like coil, and it's not recommended. It's better to keep it like kind of shorter and sweet. And also try to keep the melody at the top. This is because all of a music box will sound all of its pitches at roughly the same volume and quality, unlike a piano. A piano you can like emphasize the top or the middle and have like some quieter things at the top. So generally the only way to make the melody stand out is if it is actually at the top, or else it could get lost if there's some harmony above. It's not impossible, but use with caution. This is a good recommendation. So here are some of the limitations in practice. So this screenshot is taken from a piece of software I'll show called Music Box Composer, and it will highlight to you when the notes are too close together. In this case here, this is what a limitation on the timing. You want to avoid pieces with fast repeating notes. So if you look at the top, these holes are too close together and they won't sound because the holes will get skipped. If you're ever looking at the music box wherever it's at, you'll see that like if you put another hole right next to the one that's moving the wheel, then it'll just get skipped. So this is the minimum space between the two holes of the same pitch in order for both of them to sound. Now in practice, at a reasonable cranking rate, this translates to about 3 notes per second. So like quarter notes at 180 or eighth notes at 90 BPM. That's about your reasonable limit. You can exceed this a little bit if you want, like if you feel like cranking a bit faster. But yeah, this is generally this is usually enough. You don't usually have to go faster than this. And if you are, then I mean maybe your piece might not be well suited for music box. If it has a bunch of tremolos like on a piano, you can do that. It can't really do that very easily on this kind of music box. If you do, then what you'll have to do is you'll have to stretch everything. You'll have to, if you do want a fast tremolo, you'll have to use this minimum space and just make it longer and then faster and crank it faster. So you can, it's just, it might be tiring. So here's some tricks to get around that. These are 16th note tremolos. So instead of using a 16-note tremolo, consider tremoloing at it like an octave or a fifth instead. Like an octave tremolo is the third measure here, or the last set of measure figure here, or just keep it as an eighth note tremolo. Honestly, that might usually be fine because the effect of the tremolo is rhythmic usually. So if there's other stuff happening in the rhythm-wise, then the tremolo will get masked. So yeah, an eighth note might work just as well. You can experiment with that. Trills are actually going to be okay because they're two alternating notes. As long as the trill is slow enough, then you're fine because you're using two alternating notes, and it's okay to have notes that are that close together. It's just when they're the same note is when it's problematic. So if the trill is too fast, it won't work. But if the trill is slow enough, then it actually is okay. Grace notes. This figure on the left won't work very well because you'll hit the first one and then you won't get the second. one. But the one on the right is okay, and you can actually usually substitute the one on the right for the one on the left, the one on the left for the one on the right. This would work just fine. And like, guys, because the thing about a grace note is that the preceding notes are not that important. It's the one at the end that's important. So try and make sure that one sounds. Yes? What?
Ghost notes?
Ghost notes? You mean like ghosts that don't have a definite pitch?
Well, no, you like go over it and try to clearly make it have a sound instead of just it's more of a jazz thing.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how you'd actually be able to get a ghost note, like the one. If I understand, the question was like, could you make a ghost note on a music box? And a ghost note is like.
You don't want to hear it as much as kind of like a grace note, but less.
Yeah, it's like a note that is like significantly lower volume than other notes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that would be tricky because the music box will sound all notes at the same volume. Yeah, you'd need some kind of special like.
Can you mute the time, basically?
No, not really. In fact, that's one thing you'll end up finding is that when you run them, the question is, can you mute a tine? And you cannot actually like the tine will actually get muted itself. Sometimes, like if the paper is very fast, you might hear the wheel, the star wheel. They're called star wheels or studded wheels. You'll hear it like come up to the tine and actually kind of deaden the tine if it's cranking fast enough. So it generally does ring out though and resonate, but yeah, you can't manually mute the tines through like some through the punch card itself. While we're pausing, any other questions? Okay, I'll continue. Block chords. You should consider arpeggiating them instead because one, it sounds a lot better on a music box. It's generally like very it's very idiomatic, I would say, for music box to do this. And two, there's a bit of a physical reason for this. If too many notes are sounding at the same time, then a lot of friction is a lot of force is required for all of those wheels to turn at once because they're all trying to pluck tines at the same time. And if that happens, then you might accidentally the card might slip. It might get like the torque required to turn all those tines might actually exceed the frictional force between the card and the rollers, and that means that means that the rollers will slip on the paper, and then the music box will just stop at this block chord. So yeah, you can mitigate that by not having block chords like this. You can have like maybe 4 or 5 notes at a time, and it's probably fine. If you go like all out like this really fat F chord, then it might get stuck. Or you can use thicker paper. That'll also increase the force required for it to slip. So all right, moving on. As for the pitches, now remember how I said that a 30-note music box only has a select few black keys, or sharps and flats. Well, for a 15 or 20-note music box, you're basically stuck with diatonic music only. You can transpose it to C and go with it from there. It'll be very difficult to use a note that's if the song really depends on a note that's outside of the key of C, then you might not be able to make that song work properly. Maybe you can. Maybe the note can be substituted. I've seen that work. Actually, I did an arrangement of Peaceful Days where the melody does do that. Like near the end, it goes. There's a C sharp there, but you can substitute that for an E, and it actually works pretty well. But generally, you'd want to keep it in C if you're working with a 15 or 20-note music box. For a 30-note music box, there are certain keys that work better than others. I find that the best keys are F, C, and G major, and C, G, D, A, and E minor. The reason for that is that there aren't that many sharps or flats in these. Remember, on a 30-note music box, you only have one F sharp or G flat and one G sharp or A flat. So anything that uses like D major would be very hard because you need that F sharp and you only have one. Anything with more sharps than that, you're probably also going to need those. yeah, whereas like F, you have one flat, but you have two B flats, and they're in pretty good positions. But you wouldn't want to use B flat major because you won't. And actually, I'll move back to the slide that shows the ranges, so it's easier to find out. You wouldn't want to use B flat major because most of your bass notes don't have B flat available, so you wouldn't be able to use B flat in the lower range. And therefore, if you want to have a bottom bass B flat, you're not going to be able to get that very easily. Similarly, you don't have a B flat at the very top end of the range either, because you top out at A. So if your song climaxes on the tonic, like a lot of them do, you won't have that B flat to do so. You'll have to go down an octave. So I wouldn't recommend B flat major for that reason, even though it's only two flats. But G minor is totally fair game because you have G's in both sides. All right. Yeah, so these keys I find have the tonic in either or both the bass range and at the upper range, and most, if not all, scalar pitches in between. So yeah, these work pretty well. For the 33-note music box, if you happen to end up buying one, all keys are generally possible, but I would avoid C sharp and C sharp minor, B and B minor, B flat and B flat minor. For the same reason I would avoid B flat major on the previous on the 30-note music box, is that you don't have some of these available. You don't have the C sharp in the bottom range, because that note in particular is skipped. And you don't have B or B flat until high in the bass range, and you don't have it at the top end of the other range. Yeah. All right. So to get around some of these pitch limitations, here's some tricks. For the unavailable tones, if the tone is part of the melody, consider what role that note plays. If it's important, then you might need to transpose the whole song to a different key. If you need that note, you might. It's fine to just transpose the song. You do this when arranging for other instruments anyway. So that's what I would first do. If you first want to transpose the song such that the melody fits in you get all the notes in the melody. If the tone is in the middle of a chromatic run or something, you can just probably omit it. The whole point of a chromatic run is just a bunch of notes kind of together, and if you skip one or another, it's probably okay. It won't matter as much. The specific pitch of that note matters a lot less in this case. If the tone is part of a supporting harmony, then you can try using other notes in the chord instead. You might invert the chord. So A, for example, if you want an A minor, it's probably okay to just A minor first inversion, so move the A up an octave. Then you have your low C and E, and you got bass support, but you have your A, it's up the octave. This actually works better than you might think. So yeah, revoice, or if you've got a D chord, but you don't have F sharp in the bass, but let's say your melody is really high, and then you might be able to use the F sharp in the middle, and just use D, A, and D in the lower range. Yeah, do you have a question?
No, did you?
Oh yeah, no worries.
Sorry.
Okay. All right, and for tones that are out of range, then you might want to transpose that part up or down an octave, or that specific tone actually. This also works better than you might expect. You might need to compress the other part so that the melody stays on top. So if you transpose your bass up an octave, then you might run out of room in the middle for your melody, versus, or similarly speaking, if you transpose your melody down, then you might not have enough room in the middle for your bass. So yeah, this is where a lot of trial and error might be necessary, but this is sort of what you would keep in mind when trying to work with your out of pitch tones. All right, now here's some software that I use to help with all of this. I use a score writer for doing arrangements, no matter what instrument. I use it for piano or ensembles. I also use it for music box. Dorico, Sibelius, Finale, MuseScore, all fine score writers. I prefer Dorico, but actually for music box arrangement, I actually use MuseScore because I wrote a plugin that will tell me what notes are available. It'll highlight in red which notes aren't available, and I just run that every time I make a change. So I use the score writer to make the arrangement and staying within the constraints of a music box, and then export it to a MIDI file, which brings us to our second piece of software, Music Box Composer. This tool simulates how the punch card will actually sound. And you can just import the MIDI and adjust the timing, and then you can export it to a PDF file, so it prints it out and cut it. And I'll show you what that looks like right now. Let me just end this presentation here and open up the screen mirroring. Oh, thank you. This is Music Box Composer here. Um, so you can like, this will simulate exactly, can you turn the volume up a little bit? Which of these faders is it? I cannot find it, but hopefully you can you help me with it? Okay. So, sorry, let me just put a note in here. Okay, so I use this software for my music box arrangements, yeah, so you can simulate and you can see like if the notes are too close to each other, it'll tell you that they're too close to each other and these won't sound, but this one will sound. But yeah, like you can make your whole, this software is available on a website called jellybiscuits.com. It's like $20 and it works on a lot of platforms. Yeah, it's the perfect tool for arranging for all types of music boxes. You can select which music box you have, and you can, it'll show you all this information, and it can import a MIDI file, which is what we're going to do now. So let's get started on the arrangement, because we're almost at half time, and I want to actually show you how this is done in practice. So we would start with well, okay, actually, I'll start from where is my window? This is the song we're going to arrange. This is 600 AD, or Yearnings of the Wind from Chrono Trigger. So I picked this song for a few reasons. One of them is that if you look at the melody, it never goes above an A. It actually stops at A, and it doesn't have any G sharp up there or an F sharp up there, so we know that the melody will fit nicely in the upper range of the music box. And it's also it's in D minor, which is a very convenient key for us as well, because it's got, we got the D is available on both ends of the range, and it's got one flat, but like it's okay. We got B flats to work with. It's slow. It's not very long. So yeah, this is a good candidate to translate to music box. So what I did after that is I brought it to MuseScore, and this is just a piano arrangement. So yeah, starting from the recording, I took the piano. This book is the official Chrono Trigger piano score, and it yeah, it's all. So this is the piano arrangement starting from. So I could start from the recording, but I just use the piano arrangement as a shortcut because it's already got a lot of things we want already, like strong melody and bass lines, and a very it even tells me the harmony. So if I needed to make an adjustment here, so from here, what I would first do is let me just see. I would first change the instrument to a celesta. That way it's in the right octave. Also, a celesta kind of sounds like a music box anyway. So I'll just replace this with a celeste. And I will also reset formatting. I'll get rid of these octava lines because they actually get in the way. The plugin that I wrote doesn't work properly with that. Oops, wrong button. Mac moment. I'm not very familiar with Macs. All All right. Those red notes are out of range because Celesta doesn't have them, but I'm also going to get rid of the repeat here. So yeah, we have this now. All right. So we also know that these notes are out of range for the music box because it doesn't go this low. Now it turns out these parts are spread out enough that we can actually up the octave on this whole thing, and it'll actually sound pretty good out of the box. So we'll do that. Now, wouldn't that be nice if we could just put that in the music box? Well, it turns out we can't, because these notes are not actually available. We don't have a B flat down here. We only have two B flats, and there are two above this one. So what are we going to do? We're going to just up the octave on it, and actually it'll work pretty okay. I'll show you what that means. Same for this one. And this is the same figure down here, so we'll do the same thing here as well. So these notes are also out of range. Okay, the G is not, but the A is. But if we're going to octave up the A, we're going to have to octave up the G, so it's the right figure. So it's the right, it's in the same shape. So it leads well. All right. Now this next part it's a little tricky, because listen. Oops, sorry. So you can hear that the melody is actually getting lost because we octave up the bass. Now that's overlapping with these other notes here. So we're going to actually have to octave down some of these overlapping notes so that the melody is always on the top. So to do that, I'm going to move this B flat down an octave. I'm going to move this A down an octave. And I'm going to move this C sharp and the A down an octave. That way we got the G on top, like that. Can I just show you on the piano what that looks like? Yeah, so this is okay. That's okay too. Moving the third, sorry? Removing a third? We could, but here's how this sounds. Oh, we gotta move that too. But it actually sounds pretty fine as is, because the melody is always on the top, and we have all the notes we need for the chord. It's a close harmony, but it'll work. But yeah, same here. We're gonna move all these down, so it'll be a little crunchy, but that's okay. Music box, it actually kind of likes some close harmonies, believe it or not. So I'll do that there too. So now here's what this part sounds like. And this next part is the same, so we're just going to copy and paste that. You could make it different if you wanted to the second time, but we're just going to do it like that. All right, we're almost finished addressing all of the out of range notes. Let's move on. So maybe we can actually leave the second part up the octave because it never goes higher than an A. So we're going to do that here. Put this in its original key by doing that. Play from here. Okay, almost done here. This middle part was actually fine. The only thing we have to fix is this G sharp. We don't have a G sharp down here. But I like the chromatic run from G sharp to A. So we're actually just going to octave up all of those. So we can maintain this chromatic system. If we just move the G sharp up an octave, it would sound a little weird. So we're going to do the whole run here. We'll leave the D as is, though. So it's a different version, but it works. And one more thing I'm going to do before we move this to the next stage is I'm actually going to put these notes here in the soprano line. So we have an A and a C sharp. And let's throw another E in as well. We'll just spell this chord out really, really fat. And we'll arpeggiate it by going to the palette. I need the arpeggios and glissandos. We'll add add an arpeggio on that. All right. So with that, now we'll move this over. We'll move this over to Music Box Composer. So I can just take this arrangement and confirm that all the notes will fit, and then we can just go File, Export, MIDI, and we won't expand the repeats, although I deleted it anyway. We'll export it to Yearnings of the Wind. We'll call it Music Box. I think, yeah. All right. All right. Now I'll open up Music Box Composer, and I will import that MIDI file. This is the one here, I believe. I think that's the one, yeah. All right, so first thing we can see is that we're showing some notes as unplayable, and that's because when it imports into Music Box Composer, it has the wrong time base. So like it's importing everything at like half the time, and it plays at twice the speed. So to fix this, we would just like fix that by changing the time and then saying apply time, and then we'll actually stretch it out properly. That's wrong. Why did that do that? I may have missed a note here, or maybe maybe I actually had the wrong arrangement. But like, because that wasn't supposed to happen there. No, that's right. That's supposed to be a D. There we go. I'll just fix that manually here. Music Box has an error where if you do apply time operation but don't, it'll have the wrong size, so just do that and we'll continue. See, that's what the arpeggio does. There's one thing I want to change actually about the melody, and that's that I forgot to do this in the arrangement, but remember that we started from a piano arrangement, and it was a pretty easy one. It actually doesn't include the counter melody here, and I'm going to add that back in because the music box doesn't have hands, so we can just. So this here, this can actually, this part goes like, I don't know why it's. This goes like this. Dun, 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 dun. You can do that. Wait, sorry, that goes back a bit. Oops. This actually goes over here, I think. How does it go again? Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, that's how it goes, yes. All right, so now from here, you can export to a PDF, and then it will open, file, open, not that, where did it save to? Oh, probably save to Music Box Composer. So in preview, we can go to, oops, not that one, these are the other, the default. So yeah, it'll export it to a PDF like this, and then you can print this out on your letter-size sheets of paper in regular size. You just make sure you use cardstock paper, cut it out, and then punch all the holes. You can use a it's like punching all the holes takes like it takes a couple hours. It's like cutting your fingernails, but it's manual and laborious. But because we're at this panel here, I actually wrote some scripts that'll do this for us. Because I'm a software engineer, so I can do that. So I will run this script here, which will open up a file that we work with. So I need to first save the file as we'll call this music box panel, just so I know make sure it's. And then I have your music box panel.mbc. We'll open this in the script, and then the script finished. So now this creates a vector file of Yearnings of the Wind Music Box panel. So we will import this in Silhouette Studio. Silhouette Studio is the software for controlling one of these. This is a die cutting machine, or like a Cricut. It cuts paper or vinyl or cardstock in our case, leather. It's very useful, and if you have the designer edition, then it can open SVG files, which is what we're going to need. So we'll go back to there, and then we'll open the panel and see this vector. So this is the vector of what we just created. This is the red hole. The red is the holes, and the black is the card. So now I'm going to send this over to my machine. I click send, and then I just say, we're gonna send this on. I'm gonna say this is cardstock. Cardstock plain, and then I say it wants me to firmware update. Okay, that's not cool. Do I have to? Also, like, is it not able to detect the tool? Let's see here. Maybe I do need to update it. Update now. Okay, I'll update the firmware. I do not expect that, but it's okay. Well, while I'm sorting this out, I'm happy to answer some questions so we can get that out of the way. Yes.
Music Box Composer, the app.
Yes.
Does it work for the 20 and the 15, or only the 30?
It works for all of them, even the 33. There's a you can see, like, you can select the size of the music box, and it'll let you it'll warn you if you're trying to like convert from one with higher notes to shorter, smaller ones. But yeah, I use it all the time for making these arrangements, and yeah, it's like $20 from Jelly Biscuits. Yes.
So obviously there's three different strings you gotta connect. Now,
Yes.
I know you're saying like paid, but
Yeah, connecting the music box cards together is, you would use tape, like thin, transparent tape is ideal. If you, I'm sorry? No, it's actually seems to be okay. It's just like, as long as it's like, you know, thin enough, then it's actually okay. In my experience, I haven't had any issues with tape except that like, if you crease it, then it might like jam and then you get a bunch of wrong notes because it's, you know, being forced through it, but, yeah, like this tape I have here, just regular Scotch tape, works fine. There are some techniques you can use to make it better. Like you can use, if you're able to cut it at an angle, that actually helps it pass through more easily, because then there's less force. But I don't have, I can't quite do that. All right. Are you serious? I'm so, well, I almost want to turn it off because it is being knocked. Okay, it's available now. Unavailable. Oh, come on, please. Oh, waiting. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's because, oh, it made a sound? It made a sound? Please? Please? There's media in there. Okay, I'll give it more media. Okay, so I'm gonna load the media. I'll switch to the dock cam so you can see better. Okay, ready, okay. So now we can do, I set the settings here. I actually prefer setting this to like a pretty high blade depth, because that way the holes come out more easily. Hello? Like 9, and I set the force pretty high as well, just because I really want the holes to stick to the page. I'll put the speed up at 15 or so, and then yeah, I will just full send cardstock, and don't do that, and we want 2 passes actually. That way it definitely cuts it out. Yeah. I'll switch the camera so you can see. Focus, please. This takes about 5 minutes per sheet. I'm using I'm using tabloid size paper. Tabloid size cardstock. It's like 2 sheets of paper. That way, like I have to tape less. It's better to start with like large, long media, so you don't have to tape as much together. But yeah, just I recommend like pretty thick cardstock in general, because otherwise, like if the thicker, the less of a chance of the card slipping. So yeah, this is like I think 80-pound cover or 110-pound index or 215 GSM. I think that's yeah, just like kind of thick cardstock basically is what you want. But yeah, you can see that like it's actually cutting the holes. Can I? It's kind of hard to see. What's this, please? I will actually, well, hopefully the machine cuts out the holes cleanly, but otherwise I'll use like the tools it comes with. Like this is a little spatula. I just like kind of like just rip it off that way, and all the ones that are left on the sheet, I'll use this tool to scrape them all off. This will make more sense when it's finished. Yeah, no, I've dealt with this enough. One fun thing you can do is that if you actually print on this sheet, you can make a design on the music box card itself. So like this is, so I would do this if for a video probably, by like adding like the final. This is the Final Fantasy theme. This is the featured video on my YouTube channel. It should not be textured. It should actually be like a if you use if the card is textured, it might not pass nicely through the music box because it might be too thick. And if it's too thick, then you actually put additional wear or strain on the mechanism. So I don't recommend using textured paper in the music box. You were talking about what, sorry? A block printing? Oh, that might be fine actually. Well, yeah. I mean, because if you remember, like there's like only a couple of points of friction, points of like contact. So like I guess that might be fine actually, especially if you just avoid those points. If you're able to like put like some kind of way to prevent the ink from going on specifically those roller points, then maybe, yeah. But you know, what I would use is the software Silhouette Studio. You can put designs on it and then add registration marks. Print the card first before cutting it, and then the machine will it'll scan the registration marks and then cut in exactly the right place. Any other questions? Yes, I'll go with you. Oh, the box. Yes, this box I got from a store called. It's on Amazon, like Wingo store. This box is it's a very nice box actually. It sounds really good, and I'll hopefully get to play it for you. It was $60 because it came in a nice box. It's the same movement that I passed around, but it's just in a very nice box. Yeah, it's Wingo, WINGO, is the retailer on Amazon. And yeah, they have this, and they actually, what they did, what I really appreciate is that they actually used copper gears. I can't actually show it to you, I forgot that I still have that up. It actually has copper gears, so it's a lot more durable. Although it does, sometimes it can actually sound a little bit louder. If it sounds a bit louder and therefore you might want to substitute for the plastic gears for certain gears as well. I haven't done that yet, but I might. Next question. Yes. I thought about it. People have tried to do that before. The problem is that it's hard to get it to the level of precision you need to be accurate. I mean, because we're talking a proper a card of a song of this length would need drums. We need studs to the precision of very sub-millimeter precision. It would be really, really precise, and and the cylinder would move very slowly. That's how really expensive music boxes work. They have a very the cylinder has a lot of really crazily precisely positioned studs. I think it could be possible one day, but I don't think I have the 3D printing technology that's readily available to do that effectively. But yes. Sorry.
Right, so if I try to do something like this with my kids, with laminating the sheets once they're done, so they don't get destroyed like that, keep them from playing.
Laminating might, well, I'm not sure if laminating would work. I haven't tried that before. I suppose you could, but then you have to cut through it all. Yeah, I'm not sure actually how that would work. You have to, yeah.
700 kids driving,
It might be easier to just start with the scroll, because you can get the paper that I passed around, that comes in a large scroll of the perfectly sized and perfectly thick paper. You just have to cut it out. You just have to mark the melody yourself. Yeah. Next question.
I didn't understand his question. Can you tell me what is a
So,
drum?
remember-
What are these pieces he was asking?
Remember how I mentioned that there was. Remember how I mentioned there was 3 printed, that there were cylindrical music boxes?
Yes.
You can also get a, well, the question is could you 3D print one of those cylinders instead?
Oh, okay.
And I said maybe. I haven't tried it, and I've seen people try it. By the way, what I'm doing now is I'm scraping off all the instruments so I can prepare the next one, because I need to do a second one, and I'm running out of time. But. This is the back machine that comes with the machine, or you can get this size doesn't, but it's got it's got a tack to it, so we just
You don't have to spray it with anything, paper on it.
Yeah, like, it's got like it's just like, yeah. You can get a tacky spray, which I've used to re-stick these sheets if they've gotten out of a little less. 5 minutes? Okay. 5 minutes left. I will start the other one, but I might end up just playing the pre-made one that I have already, because I actually made this once already. But let me just get the second sheet going. So we will just do open, vector 1. We do the same thing. We will send. Hopefully that's all set correctly. And then we do cardstock back to 9. And do 2 passes, maximum force, a little faster. Okay, and no, 50. Okay. Okay, so we just printed out, we just cut out the punch card, right? So I will just play the first segment, which of these is the first segment? This one. So let me switch back. So when you see you've got these chats here, you can just like kind of, they're already cut, so I just kind of fall out and just like kind of do this to them. You just kind of like see this like this one that didn't come out all the way. You just like kind of poke it until it does come out, and then just like kind of carefully like tear it off with the spatula or with your fingers. And as long as you're careful, it won't actually affect the result. Let's see. So you just do this the whole time, and then yeah. But because we have like 2.5 minutes left, I'm just gonna like do this one piece, and then I'll play for you the arrangement that I on a card I made a couple days ago. So this is the finished punch card. It's got, as you can see, I just taped it together, and I re-punched the holes with my manual hole punch, because like when you tape over the hole, it stops it from sounding. So yeah, I just like punched over them. And yeah, let's give this a play. right, and that's all we have time for. So thank you so much for coming to my panel. As mentioned, I'm Jester Musician on YouTube and Twitter. Feel free to send me a DM if you would like, if you're interested in maybe some of the tools, more information in the tools that I use to do this. Yeah, thanks a lot for coming. Hope you enjoyed.